Hey guys, if you didn't know and you can't tell, we are not currently in Brazil right now. We're actually in Indiana. We got here in December and we did a bit of traveling down to Florida for a conference, but we're back in Indiana now. And Derek and I just wanted to sit down and kind of have a bit of a chat with you guys, and also just kind of share what 2023 looks like for us, and share some of the really great victories that we had. We had a lot of ups in that year, and we had even a couple down times where we were in mourning, and so it was a very, very full year.
Yep. Yeah, it's getting towards the end of January. It's tax season, buttoning up things for the last year, and we thought, hey, we might as well do a video for our supporters as well, and just be able to chat a bit and share about the year. Starting off, just wanted to say thank you guys. We love you guys. Yes. We appreciate you guys. The ministry that you're partnering with in Brazil is fruitful and magnificent. Yes. We're sitting here still living the dream job. Many of you guys have heard us quote that over the years, and it becomes more and more so every year, the dream job. We had a lot of fun.
So much so that if any of you guys are looking, we are accepting applications.
Yeah, there is a vetting process, so just because you apply doesn't mean you're going to get accepted. But if you're taking the time to watch this and have some interest, we would love to talk with you guys more about missions.
Yeah. So a bit of last year, 2023, just starting off with the amazing ministry that we saw happening last year. Our team grew. We had some team members that came in and just really spent the time and effort into learning the Portuguese language. If you didn't know that about our team, like, it's something that we really, Derek and I, charge our team with. The Amazon is not a place that you can get by with English. And yes, you could have a translator, and yes, you could use your phone in some situations, but we've really believe in seeing the benefit of being able to communicate one-on-one with the communities and the people there. And so we had two families and a couple singles.
Yeah, we got 8 foreign adults in Brazil speaking fluent Portuguese.
Yeah, which is really major, because now they are able to go out into the communities and minister. And it's one thing that I always encourage them with is that like, you don't want the language to be the one thing that stops you from being able to share what God is wanting to share with the people. And so now we have 8 people on our team who are completely capable of sharing what God wants to share with each community and the people there. And so we're really excited and proud of our team for that.
Yeah, and now that they're fluent in Portuguese, they can take on some more of the responsibilities as the team grows, and we are accepting more Brazilians as well.
Yeah. And just speaking about the communities and the villages, we just saw such a maturing and a transition in the ministry this last year, where I think in the beginning there was a lot of exploration and there was a lot of gaining disciples, and this year we just saw a lot of like that next step of going deeper in our disciples. We have one fellow, I think we've mentioned about Eliudo a couple times, and his testimony alone of how he came to find us, and he's still hungry. He's still showing up, and that's just been one of the greatest testimonies of last year, is that he shows up, he's hungry for the word, he's open to being discipled, and through that his family has been so greatly affected, and now even his wife is showing up to meetings and asking questions and is showing interest more and more of what is going on with our team in those communities. So just saying, like,
Eliudo's just one of the examples. We have 2 rivers that we've been frequenting throughout the year, and once again, those of you guys that know us, where our goal is to make disciples of all nations. It's not just to share the gospel. And so with our team growing, we've gone from one family being in the communities and looking to disciple people to now we have a full team. As I said, 8 foreigners, 6 Brazilians that are going full time into these villages. And so Eliudo is just one of the various testimonies that we have through the year. There's Branco, there's people out in Maringá and Apoeira as well that are just seeing transformation happen in their lives and in their communities. And so the seeds that you guys have sown, we're actually starting to see the regional transformation that we were hoping to see. And our team's growing that we can even expand that influence even more.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, so just seeing the change and the transition of the ministry that's happening and even like the maturing of our team. A lot of our team, we have a couple families in our team, but we also have a lot of singles, and a lot of them came out and they were young, and we're just really proud and excited to see even their transformation this last year. A lot of them coming here, moving out of their parents' house and like going to AMT in Zambia, and then coming out to Brazil. It's a big transition for them, and so just really proud to see the change and the maturing of them, and also just seeing them step out into the ministry in confidence. It's that proud parent moment, kind of, in a way, of just seeing the people, because again, like Derek said, you know, our hearts is and the vision of Overland is like multiplication, and we're getting to that stage of more and more where our hearts are always going to be in the communities, our hearts are always going to be with the people, but also seeing that the more we pour into our team and the more we pour in and invest in our team, the more they're going to go out and pour into the communities, and then the people that they're pouring into, they're also going to raise up to be pouring into others, and it's that exponential multiplication that we're really wanting to see, and we're seeing truly.
Yeah. One of the other cool things this year is that we are building the base. Yeah. So we've been renting a place in town ever since we moved off of the boat, and the rest of our team's been renting in town as well. And so now our missionary base is started, and we're hoping by the end of the year to have at least half of our team moved out there. Yeah. We personally have the foundation of our house in the ground. There's a chalet built already. There's more chalets about to go up. We have a groundskeeper and his family that are amazing, that really, when they joined us, they were saying, hey, we want to join with you guys. We know that you guys are building an awesome thing out in the Pupunhau where we're building our base, and they wanted to be a part of it. They were saying that they envisioned themselves just deepening in their relationship with the Lord, and as well being able to apply their practical skills to the mission and being able to serve God in it. And so we have somebody who's in love with agriculture and able to do wonderful things on the grounds and take care of the base. And he's moving on with his family to be able to help share the workload on the base.
A little like side note about our family. If you know our boys, Jonah and Elias, they are they're sometimes enemies and they're sometimes best friends with each other. But they are very used to being together, and they've made a few Brazilian friends along the way. And but the family that Derek was talking about that's going to be moving out onto the base, they have a couple of kids as well, and one specifically is close to Jonah's age, and Jonah's now saying it's his best friend, and so just a little.
He actually claims that he saved his life swimming one day. So.
Yeah, well, swimming in mud, he got stuck, but everybody's okay. It's all right. No, but.
What better way to become best friends than your friends?
Yeah, Derek and the boys went out to the base one day. And I was in Zambia at the time, and so it was talking to them and on the phone, and Jonah's like, yeah, and I almost died. I'm like, I don't know if this is you being dramatic or if this is me, like, do I need to have a conversation with your dad? But
no, I was 50 feet away. It wasn't a thing that I was oblivious to. I saw it happening.
Yeah.
He was not in risk of dying, but Jonah did collect some of his drama and capabilities of acting and really detail-oriented
just
stories.
Just enjoyment of life.
Yes,
fullness,
yes.
Right?
He gave yes. He gave these wonderful characters to swim his mother.
Yes. So yeah, we're really excited to see what's going on with the team. Derek briefly mentioned about agriculture. That's another thing to see, like how the ministry is growing, and seeing what we're capable of right now. This last year, we were also able to do. So we started working. We did a couple trips into the indigenous areas with another organization, another church in Mauez that has previously had permission to go into these indigenous areas, and we're really, really great friends with them. And so, working alongside them, we were able to go into the indigenous areas, have a couple trips. And also during one of those trips, we were able to do a Sustain conference, which if you don't know what Sustain is, it's a department inside of Overland, which a big part of that is teaching farming God's way, and the hope and the goal is to, with the disciples that we're raising up, the point is to teach them and to help them grow in their ability to cultivate their land. A lot of the people that we're working with are farmers, and it's the same in Brazil, it's the same in Zambia, and so we're teaching them practical things, practical tips, and then we're also teaching the biblical side of it, and the management side of it. And so we're really, it's been part of like Derek and I's desire to see that happen. And so this year we were able to, this last year we were able to do 2 conferences, and we're seeing such a desire and a great response to those conferences and to that. Okay, we're back. Momentary child had a question, so
emergency.
Not quite an emergency.
Yeah, as Chelsea was showing, Sustain is one of our big parts of our ministry, and really the end goal is to help our disciples be able to live off the land and be equipped where they can go out and continue the ministry as well.
Yeah.
And the rest of the village gets to benefit from it as well, whether they have fresh produce or eggs or whatever else in their community.
Yeah.
And they get to depend less on the government's checks and welfare and be able to depend more on what God's given them in their hands.
One of my favorite things that they first start talking about in the Farming God's Way conference and teaching is just the fact that, when Adam and Eve sinned, there was a curse on the land, and they talk about how Christ redeemed us, not just our like, he didn't just pay for our sins, but he redeemed everything, and he paid for the price of the curse, and seeing how our lands are no longer a curse, but they're truly a blessing. And so it's one of my favorite things to see people who have worked so hard and toiled away at their land and worked and they sweat all day, and they're seeing things, and it's like, are you sure this is a blessing? And we get to really come and say, no, your land is a blessing. And you can fully believe to receive a great harvest if you put in the right work and with a little bit of tips and knowledge, and just seeing that God is faithful. So it's one of our favorite things about Sustain. We're really excited to see how that will continue to grow in this year.
Yep. Some other key points of the year is that we did lose 2 Brazilians this year. We were able to sow them into their future ministries. Thankfully, it's not one of those somebody got in trouble or somebody messed up or just didn't make the cut. These were 2 amazing, integral parts of our team who the Lord's called them to other places. And one of the things that Chelsea and I have always proclaimed is that we have the hands wide open mentality. God can put in and he can take away. And so we have 2 lovely people, Victor and Karina, that we've spent a lot of time with and invested in, not in vain, seeing them flourish and the transformation that happened in their lives, and now they get to be a blessing in other places in the world.
Yeah, definitely. So it's good to see how God has worked inside our team and through our team, which just really gets us excited also. So I mentioned beforehand that we just were in Florida for our conference, Overland Conference.
All right, before we get to next year, what was the other big thing that happened this last year?
Oh yeah, so if you don't recognize our setting or where we are sitting, it's because it is our house, our home. We are sitting on the front porch. It's a little chilly, but we are appreciating the front porch of our home.
We won't be here in the summer months, so we're going to suffer in the cold in the winter months.
Yes. So to give you a brief testimony, towards the end of last year, it finally was completely solidified and is now, we have the deed in hand. We were given a house.
In Richmond, Indiana.
In Richmond, Indiana. Derek's mom lives right next door. She's our neighbor, so that's also another blessing to have.
Anybody traveling through or who lives in the area, hit us up so you can come and check it out.
Yes, we'd love to have you. We could talk about this amazing blessing forever. I think we're also going to do another video of just fully talking about how this came about for us. But that was another really, really big thing for us that we had to share. Testimony. We have a house. We were given a house. Amen.
Yep.
So now, talking about this year, we just got back from conference, Overland Conference, and just coming out of conference is always such an encouragement. Walking away feeling super, super encouraged. We get to hear testimonies of people around the world through Overland, hearing, we were encouraged because, as Derek said, we're building our base. And as we build our base, we're believing for the funds to be able to build that base, to build our home. And so we're here on this side of believing for those funds to come in. And then we're hearing testimonies of people who were believing for $50,000 and then and more, and just fully believing and contending for that. For their base, and then like the money comes in, because again, God is faithful. He is so good, and He is faithful, and He comes in. And so just hearing these testimonies of people believing, having a need, and believing God to support them in that, and be sufficient, and so that's been such an encouragement, and also just being encouraged by all the amazing speakers. We have some of the best speakers that come through Overland, and I might sound like I'm being biased, but it's truth, it's fact. We have some amazing speakers. All of the messages are on YouTube. I believe YouTube, Overland Missions.
We put the links on Facebook as it was happening.
Yeah,
you can look up our profile and see.
Yeah, we have the links posted and everything.
If you're struggling to find them, just hit us up and we can hook you up with them.
They're so good, so encouraging, challenging. I always sometimes feel like at the end of conference, if I wasn't already a missionary, I'd be like, sign me up right now.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go again. Like,
you leave every year with the feeling that you can take on the world.
Yes.
Which, I mean, that's what Jesus told us to go out and do, so.
Yeah. So encouraged to hear the testimonies of our team members of Overland around the world, seeing what God has done in them and through them. Places like Zambia and Mozambique and Madagascar and the Middle East and Tanzania, and just so many places, even Southeast Asia, even unnamed places that we can't share, but so encouraged to hear from our team, seeing what God is doing them, and just taking that and saying like, hey, God did it for you, and He's gonna do it for us. He's gonna do it in the Amazon. He's gonna do it in our team and in the people in the communities, and just fully believing that this coming year is gonna be even better than last. You know, just always believing that God will provide everything we need. He is sufficient, and He's a good Father, and that we want to carry that message of Him being a good Father, and that He loves them to those communities, and not just of He's just a name, but He's a name, and He's a person, and He's good, and He wants a relationship with them. And so as we look at this coming year, we're so excited. We have a few more months here in the States before we head back to Brazil. 2 more as we continue to build our funds for our family support, our monthly support we're raising up, and also raising the funds for our base and our home, meeting with churches and individuals. So if you are in the area, or not, even if you're not in the area, hit us up, and we'll make something happen. So reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'd love the opportunity to come and share what God is doing in the Amazon, because we got testimonies, and we wanna share it and see God glorified in it all.
Yep. We'll be visiting different churches, and so hopefully you guys will get to see us at your church soon.
Coming to theaters near you.
But some other things we have going on this year, guys, is we're starting our OMT training in Brazil as well this summer.
Yeah. Yep.
So we sowed 2 Brazilians, and for those of you that are part of the kingdom, you realize when you sow, you reap. And so we have Brazilians waiting in line to join our team, and we're doing a missionary training this summer. The wonderful Weaver family, that's part of our full-time team, is going to be heading that up as we participate in raising up another generation of leaders in Brazil.
Yeah.
And
Also, our NPDers. We have how many?
5.
5. So NPD is people who've gone through AMT, which is Overland's training, and then they have said and have like said that they're going to join Team Brazil. And so right now they are in the phases of gaining partners to be funded to come out to the field. So we have 5 new people coming out that are said, I want to be in Brazil, and they're currently raising. So we're super excited about that as well.
Mm-hmm. And beyond that, we're going to be building the base and seeing things move forward this year.
Yeah.
Super excited. The team is fired up from the conference and staff retreat. Our Brazilians on the ground are keeping things running right now. We love you. We thank you. Can't wait to be with you again
Obrigada
soon.
por tudo. Eu tenho muita saudade pra vocês.
Yep, we have some manning the fort in Maués and keeping things going. We have some in Manaus reaching out to surrounding areas there, and we have one that's heading to South Brazil to be able to share more of the vision of the missionary training and things that we have going on in the Amazon. So yeah, got a lot planned for this year, and just wanted to say thank you one more time. We appreciate you guys, and any gaps that you see here that you, well, what about that, or what about that, feel free to reach out to us.
Yes.
We want to connect with you, and we are accessible. And so when you watch this video, get a hold of us through Facebook or whatever other means, and we can set up some personal time with you as well.
Love you guys so much. Thanks again for believing in us, partnering with us, and partnering with what God is doing in the Amazon.
Amen.